Welcome, everybody, to this next session of the Strategy, Marketing, and Brand Workshop. In these sessions, we talk about different aspects of strategy for your business to be successful, marketing opportunities to engage more successfully with your customers, and branding to provide a better opportunity for your image to help you stand out from your competition. So today, we're going to be talking about preparing change for yourself. And I am going to switch over to sharing the screen and get this presentation underway. So this session is preparing change for yourself and your company. Last time we were together, we talked about preparing yourself and your company for change. So this is a little bit different take, and we're going to be talking about type 2 change, and I'll explain that in a moment. My name is Frank Spivak, and for more than 30 years, I've helped organizations enhance their image, engage their customers, and enrich their businesses. Over my career, I've been president, chief marketing officer, director of a business, member of the senior management team. I'm currently, I have for many years, a writer, author, speaker, trainer, coach, consultant, and most importantly, a lifelong learner. And as a side benefit, I am also a motorcycle rider and trainer. I perform in parades and motorcycle rodeos. It's a very different experience, but something that gives you a lot of leadership lessons. So to recap what we talked about last time, there are two types of change. The first is the change that happens to you. So things like the weather changes. You weren't expecting it to rain or snow or whatever. Maybe your car won't start. The pandemic hit. One of your suppliers folded. A key employee quits. You have a new competitor, or maybe there's a new product from your existing competitor, and other types of market shifts that are really not under your control. And when those shifts take place, you become subject to that change, and you have to be able to respond. The second type of change is the change by you. So, for example, you want to do something about your weight or lifestyle. You want to create a new direction for you or your business. You have new goals, new plans, new business opportunities that you want to pursue. That becomes a change by you. And those two types of changes have very different responsibilities, have different actions that you would take, both you as well as your employees. So we're going to be talking about type 2, which is change by you. So example, lifestyle, weight, new direction. So for things like this, you want to change, you want to add targets, communication. You need your vision, and you need a real plan. These are all vital to preparing change for you and your company. A vision is what it is that you want to see happen to your company. You want to have 10% new customers in 5 years. You want to have 3 new products. You want to have 2 updated products. In order to you want to set that vision, because once you've set the vision, then the plan, the targets all follow suit. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But as you can see, it's communication that are going to make that successful. Now, I've been a student of leadership for many years. And one of the things that I found really useful is the books and information from John Kotter. And so several years ago, he wrote an article in the Harvard Business Review titled "Leading Change: Why Transformation Efforts Fail." And he has a book called Change, pretty obvious. Another one, fairly recent, That's Not How We Do It Here. Um, Kind of goes back to we've always done it that way. Why do we want to change? Things like that. Accelerate is how to look at accelerating change within your business. Our iceberg is melting. Commentary on how to develop a sense of urgency in change. Leading change, the heart of change, a sense of urgency. All great books. Anytime you can read an article or information by John Kotter, it's fantastic. Now, when I have done change processes, I have used this 8 steps, and which follows is try to avoid the 8 errors which occur when you're trying to make transformational change. And so we'll walk through this. Again, this is John Kotter's work. I'm just kind of giving you an example of how it would work for you and how it's worked for me. So the 8 steps. The first one is establishing a sense of urgency. Because one of the first things that happens when you want to make a change is that people will say, why? Why do I need to make a change? Why is this necessary? Why can't we just keep doing things the way we've always been doing it? So in order to establish a sense of urgency, you need to really understand the realities that exist for your company, for your market, for your products, things like that, because you will need to explain them clearly to all of your stakeholders when you make this change. You need to identify the issues and crises, or potential crises, or major opportunities. Anytime you want to make a change, or you have a problem or a situation, you need to understand what that is. You need to frame the issue. You don't come up with solutions before you actually identify what the problem is that you're trying to solve. So this aspect of establishing a sense of urgency is the very first step. You need to do the background. You need to understand what's there and why you need to make that change, because you need to thoroughly understand it so that you can explain it clearly to others. The second step is forming a powerful guiding coalition. And there's a lot of important words in that statement. You want to assemble a group that has enough power to lead change effectively. You don't want to have a committee of 75 people and really only 10 of them work. If 10 of them only work, get rid of the other 65. The key is that they have to have some sort of power to help you make that change take place, and they can be effective in their job and in the transformation that's you're going to be asking them to take place. So if you have a really small company, it may be that your guiding coalition is everybody. But more likely, it's going to be a key group of 4 or 5 of your managers, your key employees that can work together. And they have to work as a team. Everyone's got to be on the same page. You can have disagreements all day long within your team meeting, but that's just the ability to air out all of the issues and angles and problems, or later stage consequences, things like that. You want to get all of that stuff out on the table, but everybody needs to be on the same page with where you're going, understanding the sense of urgency and the reality of the situation. The next step is creating a vision. So now you have the background, you have the foundation, you understand what's at stake by understanding that urgency. And you have a group of people that will help carry that through. So now the key is creating a vision. And the vision is what you see as a result of that change, the end goal. You want to be as specific as you can with what you see at your business is like. So as I mentioned earlier, maybe you want to say, if you're a publishing company, you want to produce 5 new titles every year, or you want to have 5 new authors that produce 10 titles a year. You want to, one of the things would be that your vision is that you are a leading technology company. Well, if you're a leading technology company, that means you need to come up with technology ideas. So what does that mean? What does that look like? So you could be saying, oh, I'm going to come up with one new product every year and one revised product every year. And then once you've got that vision, what that's going to look like at the end, now it gives you the ability to work backwards and develop strategies for actually achieving that vision. If you don't know where you're going, then, how can you create a plan to get there? Kind of the Yogi Berra-ism is that, if you don't know where you're going, all roads are great. So you need to find out what that vision is, and you need to crystallize it and come up with something that makes sense to you and to the others on your team and to all of your employees. The next step on the 8 steps is communicating the vision. You want to use every possible vehicle to communicate this new vision and the strategies that you're going to employ to get there. Now, this could be, it could be anything. It's whether you're using in-house newsletters, in-house websites, newsletters, you have quarterly meetings, monthly meetings, whatever it might be. You want to use every possible opportunity to communicate the vision on where you're going. And I can tell you right now that whatever you think might be enough, it isn't. You want to plan to do at least 10 times more than what you think you actually need to do. So it could be having one-on-ones with individuals, or one-on-many with the individual departments. You want to be able to meet with them and discuss what's going on. You need to communicate the vision all the time, every day, with everyone you're meeting with, and where you're going to be going with this. The next step is empowering others to act on the vision. So I can tell you right now, change is not going to happen if it's just you. And if you have a team that has the ability to work on things, there's going to be times when they're going to come up to an obstacle. So your job as the leader, the manager, the owner, president, whatever it is, your job is to get rid of those obstacles so that they can be successful in their effort. So it's just the hierarchy of organization. If there is something that you think will block change in production or shipping or the design area, you want to be able to remove that obstacle or mediate that obstacle so that they have an opportunity to make that change successful. Because when they can do that, then they're going to feel empowered to make things happen. You want to change the systems or structures that undermine the new vision. So, for example, the old thing, well, we've never done it that way. That's, I've been with so many organizations where the first reaction is, well, we've never done it that way. The other reaction is, we tried that, it didn't work. Well, when did you try it last? 10 years ago? There's so much that has changed in 10 years that it's worth looking at and revising and changing those systems and structures. It's the kind of thing where if you're an effective company and you're always looking forward, you want to be able to review the systems. You should be reviewing your systems on a regular basis to say, is this outmoded? Is it outdated? Is it, is there new technology that can take care of this and give us more opportunity to get other things done? You want to encourage risk-taking and non-traditional ideas, but it needs to be in a safe environment. So if you're going to encourage people to take risks, then it has to be in an environment where it is non-confrontational or non-retributionable, I guess that's not really a great word, but if you're encouraging people to take risk and they take a risk and then you slap them down because they took that risk, then you're defeating the purpose. So you have to empower others to act on your vision. This is your vision, right? So give them the opportunity to take chances. And whether, no matter what you are, whether you're the president, the owner, you can't know everything. You can try, and you should try, but you can't know everything. So give up people the opportunity to act on your behalf to make things happen. And along the way, plan for and create short-term wins. It's the idea of, the Tour de France is 20 plus days of riding, but you have someone who is the winner of a particular leg. It gives them an opportunity. They get short-term wins. The more short-term wins, they feel more confident that they can win the entire thing. So plan for visible performance improvements. We want, when you see changes and they're actually making headway towards your vision or improving the company, then make sure it's visible for people to see. Hey, we did this, it's working. And when you do that, when you say it's working and you've got the proof to back that up, then people feel more comfortable in doing more and trying to take steps towards your vision. You want to recognize and reward employees involved in the improvements. Now, it could be anything you want. You give them an Amazon gift card. It could be public acknowledgement in a meeting. But you need to reward employees. You need to say thank you. You need to say thank you all the time. You need to give compliments. I want to go back to something that I was told many, many years ago. One of the things you would do is put 10 coins in your pocket, 10 chips, whatever you want. Put 10 slips of paper in your pocket. And every time you give a compliment, you move it to the other pocket. So by the end of the day, your pocket that you started with, that should be empty. So when you do that, you are acknowledging the other people that are working for you, and you're acknowledging the work that they're doing. So give them that acknowledgement. You want to consolidate the improvements that you're making and produce still more change. So it's not like, well, January 1st, this is our plan, and December 31st, everything changed. Everything changes. It's not possible for that to happen. So in January, you make your statement, your vision. March, you've made some improvements. Well, make sure that those improvements are baked back into the system. If they're not baked back into the system, you'll lose them. It's the kind of thing where there's a couple of organizations I'm with, and it says if you do it twice, it's tradition. So if you do it twice and it's tradition, then it becomes built in. So when you make the change, make it part of the whole as soon as you possibly can. You want to hire, promote, and develop employees who can actually implement the vision. It's entirely possible that you will have people that will try to undermine your activities. It's just the reality of things. Maybe it's time to suggest that they could find a better opportunity elsewhere, because you need people that are going to be working for you, working with you, and moving forward to implement this vision. If they don't believe in the vision, you might want to find out why they don't believe in the vision first before you just summarily get rid of someone. But you need to understand why. If it could very well be that they have a very valid reason of why that vision doesn't work, and you need to incorporate that into your thinking. You need to reinvigorate the process with new projects, themes. You need to keep it going. So it's the the snowball effect. You create a really tiny snowball at the top of a hill. By the time it gets to the bottom, it's a gigantic boulder of snow. So just keep reinvigorating. you want to get people tuned into making updates to the system and the processes. You want to institutionalize new approaches. You want to show the connection between the new behaviors and success. So when you do that, again, if we do it twice, it's custom. It's part of our tradition. So institutionalize that new approach and show people that now that we've changed this shipping process, we've decreased our cost by 3%. Those kinds of hardcore connections can really help you in making things happen. And you want to develop the means to ensure leadership development and succession, because quite honestly, you're not going to be there forever. A friend of mine just was in a motorcycle accident, and he's the owner of the business. Well, now he's got to figure out what to do with how he moves that business forward as he recuperates from the accident. So what do you have in the form of leadership development? Do you have an assistant or a department manager that you can entrust with moving forward? And maybe you make this a 3 or 5 year succession plan where you're going to give someone the opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to make you a manager or a director. Let's follow this step of your development and we can make sure that this happens. So those are the 8 steps as outlined by John Kotter. So in his article on transformational failures, he identifies 8 errors to that transformation. And some of this is just the negative of what we talked about earlier. The first is not establishing a great enough sense of urgency. If no one thinks it's important or urgent, whether you use the Eisenhower matrix or whatever process you want to talk about, if no one gets the idea that this has to happen, or this is going to happen, by God, no matter what, we're going to make this happen, it won't change. By not understanding what that sense of urgency is, it just completely destroys everything from the first day. You have nowhere else to go. Not creating a powerful enough guiding coalition. That coalition is going to be your network to make sure that things happen throughout the organization. They are also your feedback tool. They need to tell you how things are going. They need to understand from their end what's going on and communicate that back to you and see if that needs to help clarify some other things as you move forward. Lacking a vision. This is probably this one and the next one, under communicating the vision. These are probably the 2 most critical. The sense of urgency, some people can automatically see that. And it might be easy enough to find a group to make that work. But if you're not clear about the vision, people will get sidetracked because they don't know where they're going. You're on a trip, and then all of a sudden you see a sign for the world's biggest ball of twine. Well, there you go. You go off into that direction. If your goal is to see, I'm going to see as many weird sights as I possibly can, that's perfect. But if your goal is, I got to get to California in 2.5 days, going to go see the biggest ball of twine is not really part of that vision. And under communicating the vision by a factor of 10, this to me is probably, I would almost put this above the lacking of a vision, because if you can't communicate what's going on and do it over and over and over and over again, then it's never going to work. You could have a great vision, but if you don't communicate it over and over and over and over again, then it's not going to pass. It's not going to get you where you want to go. The next four, or the last four, are not removing obstacles to the new vision. If you just say, hey, this is where we're going to go, and you leave it to everyone's best effort, if they run into a roadblock and you're not helping them, they're eventually going to say, well, why should I do this? I'm not getting any help to make this happen. So I'm going to give up. Not systematically planning for and creating wins. Again, you need to work on some benchmarks, some milestones to say, hey, on March 31st, we're supposed to be here. Hey, we made it. We made it and we exceeded. Let's have a party. Let's get some cake. Do something to celebrate that win. Declaring victory too soon. We see this happen a lot. People think that they have accomplished what they were set out to be, but in reality, they haven't been looking deep enough to understand that the systems haven't been incorporated. Things aren't baked into the new system properly, and they declare victory too soon, and everybody gives up. And when that happens, you can get into a retrograde kind of position where you might go back further than where you were before. And lastly, not anchoring those changes in the corporation's culture. Culture will beat just about any strategy 9 times out of 10. If you have a good, supportive culture of innovation, of camaraderie, of getting things done, honest feedback, open, honest, transparent feedback, that culture is going to win every single time. But you need to anchor all the changes that you've made through this transformation process back into that culture. And if you haven't, again, you're going to just go back you could go into a retrograde situation or back to zero and not get anywhere. So it's important to look at what it is that you've done, made those changes, and get that done into your culture as soon as possible. So in summary, there's 2 types of changes. Change that happens to you, which I refer to as type 1 change, and change that you want to have happen, type 2 change. And we've been talking in this session on type 2 change. Type 1 change, if you want to review that, I still have that up on my website. You can take a look at that. This new session will take its place in the next few days. Your ability to create type 2 change is based on vision, planning, and communicating. You need to understand what it is, where you want to go, how you want to get there, and let people know all the different steps along the way. You also need to remember that your type 2 change is someone else's type 1 change. Type 2, you want something to have happen. Well, now it's that other person's status quo that's being interrupted. It's being sidelined. It's being put in their face. They need to understand where you're going. The whole ability of preparing type 1 change is that you and your employees have continuous learning. You need to be worldly broad in what kinds of activities are taking place. And so when they're better faced and understand how to deal with type 1 changes, you again have a better chance of your type 2 change taking place. We talked about Cotter's 8 steps of transformation. And we've also talked about John Kotter's 8 errors. And I think, again, I have used this, and I can tell you that when I have not followed all 8 steps or avoided all 8 errors, change doesn't happen. And I've been working on change for a number of organizations, and some of them are hundreds of years old. And I can tell you, change is tough. Change is always, always tough. I have a friend who is a junior high teacher, and the process of making changes, he's the first one to say, how is this change going to make my life better? Whatever you do, how's it going to make my life better? So understanding the other party, again, this type 1, type 2 difference is going to be vital in helping ensure that you do have success in transformation. So, and it doesn't matter the size of the project. This could be, entire corporate organization. It's just going to take longer. It takes more planning, more vision, things like that. But if it's your own department, if you want to change how things are done in your department or your division, this still applies. And you need to be clear to your employees that you're leading what it is that you want to have accomplished. Bring them in to help you with establishing the vision, however you want to do it. But you got to create that vision, and everybody's got to be on board. So that's the summary of our session. I do have a free offer for you. I am offering a 60-minute session, one-to-one, to help you get unstuck. It's a process where there are 3 questions for you to answer. You schedule a time, and during our time together in that 60 minutes, I will provide you at least 2 ideas that you can use immediately to help you move forward, break free, or be more confident in what your next moves are. It could be on how to change the culture of your organization, how to change the vision, how to do what's the next step in your career path. It's an opportunity for you to unburden yourself and get some open, honest feedback. And I will do my best, my level best, to provide you with some value that you can use moving forward. And it's free. So you could visit frankspivak.com/unstuck, and you'll find the questionnaire and register for that. And hopefully that will be something of great value to you. So I want to thank you for attending. It's now time for questions. I want to be your partner in success. I provide strategy, marketing, and brand, coaching, training, and consulting. So if there's anything that I can do to help you, please feel free to let me know. And at this time, I would now open it up to questions and see if there's anything that I can do to help you right now.